It's so windy. We're expecting a storm coming through. It's gonna drop down to 27 degrees tonight and 33 tomorrow. And I just planted out, well, compacted them in all my fruit trees. And you can see they are all budding and flowering. So I'm thinking about tying trash bags over them so I don't completely lose all of this new growth. But it is, the wind is pushing really hard. What's up, guys? So it is now 2 days later after I filmed the first part of this video where I was protecting all of my plants. I came out here yesterday after the first cold snap. It was, that night it had reached down to, I think, 26 degrees. And then last night it went down to 32. So I had tried to cover a lot of things, but I did not cover my brassicas. And the first night, they did not fare well. I'm about to show you. Only in South Carolina can you have brassicas bolting 1 week, and then the next week they get killed by frost. So it is not looking good. When I came back from, or actually when I was leaving to church yesterday, I saw that most of them had died and was leaned over, which is really sad. So as you can see, they look disgusting. I had left some bolted cabbages here, and then they died. Also had my beets that just had sprouted. All of those died. When I first came out here yesterday, my kale was still alive, but today some of them are not looking that fabulous. Like these are good, but then I have some right next to it that are not good. My snapdragons are doing pretty good. I only lost about 1 or 2. My onions are in ground, are doing good, and my garlic. And then my big row of onions that I planted, all of those are doing well, and I did not cover them. I didn't cover my ranunculus here or my garlic, and there are flowers that died, tipped over, fell over, but they are still alive. So in this bed, the same thing. I had some cabbages that had flowered because we were having lots of warm 85, 90 days, and then we had that cold snap and killed them. So I even have some radishes that I have planted down the sides that the leaves aren't doing well, so I'll have my girls come in and pick all these out, and we'll feed all of this to the chickens. I did try and cover this bed that had beets and calendula, and the beet part, the cloth flew off, so you can see it killed the beets. The calendula is looking a little rough in some spots, but it's still alive. I didn't cover my Swiss chard bed, and as you can see, all of them are smushed, dead, kaput. But my leeks that I just transplanted out are still alive. In the next bed, I tried to cover this bed as well that had my bulbs, and the cover flew off. So some of them, died back, and some of them are still with us. This is my carrot beds, and as you can see, lots of carrot sprouts died. Some are still here. Same thing for the next bed. Some are here, some are not. I did cover this potato bed because it's the one that had, the wrinkly potatoes, and some had already started forming green growth on them, and I didn't want them to die back more than they've already been through a lot. So I did cover this bed, and they are still here. My other potato bed, nothing started sprouting, so it was fine. My onions, they're the same red onions that I have in my in-ground bed, did not fare so well that I planted in this container. So I guess I would have thought that they would have been better since they were in a container, because my other onions in ground all survived. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe having it in the container, they were actually colder than the ones in ground. So that's that. So that is really sad. When I saw that yesterday before church, I was very disappointed. I looked on my farmer's almanac just to, be sure, and I actually planted, with the exception of my beets that I did, and I think Swiss chard that I did plant early, because now is the time, well, March 21st, they say you can start planting beets all the way till like April 6th in the zone that I am in the area. And so, but my carrots, I was supposed to be able to plant from February. My, what else? My brassicas, I could have planted March 6th, and we're way past that. So I planted everything out according to when I usually plant my brassicas out, and this has never happened to me before. Especially, just having some bolting a couple days prior and then have them die through a cold snap. That cold, I think when I woke up that morning, I saw that it was actually got down to 26. It's nice that I didn't lose all my onions, because I definitely didn't cover them, and so they definitely could have, died like the ones in the containers. So I'm glad that my onions survived, but I am disappointed about my kales and beets and carrots. And with my cabbages, I wasn't sure if I was gonna get ahead. Some had started forming ahead, so I'm not too bummed about that. As well as my broccoli, I did have one that bolted, and so um, you know, I could not even had a harvest. So I'm not really bummed about that. I will definitely have to go. It makes me want to go back through and plant more beets and Swiss chards and carrots, and so I'll probably be doing that. Um, Maybe not today, but I mean, maybe today, maybe later today I'll do that. But so definitely a learning experience. I did write down what had happened so that I can, learn from this experience, and can look back on my notes next year to see what I did wrong or what I did right and stuff like that. And I definitely know I want to plant my tulips later than I did, because they sprouted. We had such a warm December that they sprouted so early. And so I definitely want to plant like tulips later than I did. Also, I think next year I'll try and start onions earlier. I put mine in the ground, I think the second week in December, and I know, like, I watched a video from Hoss Tools that they put their onions in the ground. I think it was October or November, and so they're in Georgia and I'm in South Carolina, so I would definitely try and plant my onions earlier. Maybe next year I will only plant fall brassicas going forward. I will definitely try them again in the fall. I am excited though, because I had been thinking that I wanted to turn my log raised beds into more of a perennial, like where I have most of my perennial flowers and perennial things that's going to come back every year, like strawberries and asparagus. Because I had been thinking about where I was going to plant all of my asparagus when I got them. And so I have 2 open log beds right now, and so I was saving them for asparagus. And so since my brassicas have all died in that first log raised bed, maybe I will, plant some strawberries there as well. I'm going to use the majority of my strawberries inside of the cross, but I will still have more, and so maybe, that can be strawberry and asparagus patches up front now that I will have to be replanting. I've also thought about using a log raised bed just this year to have tomatoes, just a line of tomatoes, and trellis it with the what is it called, the cattle panel. We did go ahead and pick up a bunch of cattle panels and T-posts the other day, so that's really exciting. As you know, I haven't decided where I was going to put my tomatoes yet, and I did plant lots of tomatoes. I still have this whole pile of compost that we need to get into beds and clean up this area, because this area needs about 4 more raised beds. And then I was thinking about putting an in-ground bed, kind of like the one that we have here, to plant a row of tomatoes along the future fence. So that is my update on the garden over the last 2 days. All of my trees survived. I did put trash bags over them, or just wrap them in a blanket or a pillowcase, and all of them still have their buds and their leaves that had already started growing, so that's exciting. I am a little disappointed about my brassicas, of course, but I am using it as a learning opportunity, and also looking forward to spring, because I do have lots of plants inside of my glass room in the house that are ready to come out as soon as the weather cooperates. So, not all is lost, but I hope this was encouraging to somebody that, we all make mistakes, and, things happen and it's sad, but always look at the brighter side of it, because I know I am. We also have baby chicks coming this week from Murray McMurray. I think there are 30 egg layers that I ordered. I ordered 15 different varieties. I don't remember all their names, but I know I ordered about like 4 different ones with the puffy hats that I just thought would be so cute. And I know I ordered some colorful egg layer ones and just some unique variety, and they're all female, so we will be looking for a email notification about when they shipped. We already got their brooder set up inside of the garage. We also got a second brooder going because we also have meat chickens coming at the end of the month, and so we wouldn't mix 2-week-old chickens with baby chickens. So we have 2 brooders set up already in our garage that my husband built yesterday. He also started working on our meat tractor for when the meat chickens get old enough. We are going to start moving them around the property. So those are exciting things to look forward to. And so I just wanted to give you guys an update on what is happening here. And I'll see you guys next time.